Okay, so why didn't you present? That's the topic.
Yeah, I don't even know what this is about. I just know that I didn't present and I want to. And I hope
I want to too. I want to present next year.
Okay.
There's so many talks I went into. I was like, I know about this. I could be doing something like this. Like, I'm just like, why didn't I do it?
Well, so it's a pretty easy process, I thought. You know, you go out to the website, you type in, you know, you find the right page, you type in a description of what you're interested in doing, and then you just watch the, you know, stuff that comes out. I mean, I think they send you emails too, tell you where the program, the primary list is and things like that.
Oh.
It's really not that tough.
Now, if I want to do my, like, is it a list of pre-approved talks, or if I have an idea for it?
Please try to find something that isn't approvable. You know?
There's so many topics I can talk about.
Well, because I went to the Women in Tech talk and it sucked.
You should go to the War on Cooties. That was actually a good one. Was it? Yeah. And it was totally about like women in the workplace and like what we have to deal with and how, and like men were asking like, how can I make this better? How can I have like a good environment? It was so productive.
That one.
And I like told her, I was like, I want to do this, like help you next year because I totally can relate. Like,
Yeah, are you in the tech field?
Yes, I'm a Linux security developer, and I.
Why weren't you in the Women in Tech talk then?
Because I was busy doing other things and stuff. And like, seriously, I like this happens every year. I'm like, I'm gonna do this and this, and this whole schedule just gets obliterated. Like, just doesn't happen.
This is my first year.
I've been here 3 years. It happens every year to me.
I'm getting a hotel next year because I want to get wasted with all you nerds.
That's the best way to do it. Like Friday night, I didn't get back till 4 in the morning. I fell asleep in a night out. That's how bad it got. Like I was drinking Jaeger like it was water. Like that's a problem. Like, yeah, I know, right? So yeah, definitely a hotel room.
Jaeger makes my things explode. things explode.
Obviously, I have no problem talking in front of people either. So I just told you guys.
See, that's the thing. It's like I usually am kind of a
Hello.
antisocial.
So the topic is, why didn't you present at Penguicon?
Lack of organization.
And your partner on the
Oh, my part, totally.
Okay, I was like,
Oh, no, totally me.
yeah, I just didn't know how. And maybe I'm hoping like people will tell me.
Is it a relatively easy process? Can I just go click and be like, oh look, I'm talking now, or do I have to pay?
No, actually, you get a discount. I think that's the way they do.
I think it's just a little discount.
You're very small, very. I wouldn't consider that as part of the.
Yeah.
Is it additive? Like if I do a bunch, will I actually
No,
get a free ticket?
So I did 12 BOFs,
Whoa.
and like they don't recognize that I'm doing more than one. So
Okay.
somehow they didn't quite gather
Yeah,
all
I
that
think-
together.
I think you saved like $5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
It's not. But I'm not doing it for the
No,
money. Like,
exactly.
if I present, it's because I'm really passionate about this and I want to share that with people.
Right,
So.
right. Well, so the process is not hard. I mean, you gotta know that Penguicon is coming up, right?
Yeah.
So you have to, either you have this on a schedule or you're on the email list or something. And for me, it's like suddenly I start getting more of this email, and it just, like crescendos and.
I just Google it. I'm like, when's Penguicon? And I put it in my calendar. That's all I do.
Right. So what you need to do is like, a month or two out, watch, and then when they come out and say, okay, it's time to put in the, your topics and stuff, you go out to the website and you put in, just short description with the title, how long it takes for the presentation to take place, and it's extremely painless. I mean,
Okay.
I just, winged it.
Wong it? I like that.
And so basically, you come up with just one paragraph description. You can see all these descriptions are not really all that much information. And at that point, I didn't even know what I was going to do for some of these.
Okay, cool. Because like, what if I don't really have an idea, but I just want to help with, like, I know I want to help with like the War on Cooties next year because they're just doing it next year. Like, I'm gonna just be like, hey, I want to help
Well,
with
so
this.
what I'm finding is really easy to do is a BOF. You just pick BOF in the beginning of the title, right? And in your description, you describe what you're trying to do, and then magically people just show up who are interested in the same
That's my other
thing.
fear. People won't show up. I'll be
What's
like,
a
I want to do this.
POF?
and people won't
Yeah,
show
what's
up.
a
That's what this is. It's a birds of a feather. So
Yeah.
it's people who are interested in the same thing getting together and talk about it.
They'll talk.
So BOFs would be perfect for women in tech.
That's what I want to do then, because like this year, like it was at the bar, and then I like
Oh
nobody.
yeah, I was at
could
the
hear
bar.
me.
That's why I didn't go. I didn't want to go to the bar.
Yeah, so like it was at the bar, and nobody could hear anybody. everybody, so I went to
You
Ops
should
and
have
I
done the
said,
war on cooties. It was so good. Like
and
seriously,
then I
next
went
year.
to Ops and I said, can I change it to the other room? And they said I can change it to the other room. And then everybody was just talking, and I was like, no, this isn't working. Everybody's talking. We need to have it organized. Anyways, I didn't like the way that it was done, but I'll go to War on Cooties because that's something that I'm.
You get a cool girl power thing and everything.
Well then, I'm
Well,
I'm like,
Well,
damn,
so- okay, wait.
I missed it.
So there's another thing you should know. If you're interested in the little ribbons and stuff, you can have those made up. This is not too, I mean, some expense, right? But it's not too expensive. It's not too hard to do. So you come up with a little short phrase that means something to you, and you watch the website, and they'll do a thing several months out. You have to plan this one ahead of ways, and you basically pay your money and provide them with what you want in your thing. And you can have your own ribbons to give out.
Can I serve, because something else that I was thinking would be fun since it's gonna be the ladies thing, can I serve wine or alcohol at these things? 'Cause I have been
I
served
don't know the
alcohol.
rules on that. You'll
I'll
have
have
to
to
check.
ask.
So there are people who are
Someone
helping
gave it to
you
me.
understand what you can and can't do. So I have another group that wanted, can we bring in a cake, stuff,
Yeah,
or a quarter keg or something like that. And so there are certain rules I'm sure you have to follow, but alcohol
Are
would
you a Doctor
probably.
Who fan?
I think if you're gonna.
Yes, well, sort of. They got to the point where he had that giant insect that, that kind of threw me off, but okay. Okay, great.
Someone gave it to me and I'm supposed to pass them out and I've been failing at my job. Like literally, someone just gave me this like, I'll give it to you for free as long as you give it to people. I'm like, I forgot.
We can put them out on the tables out there too.
Yeah, I should just start throwing them at people.
So
Take this.
then you can also like advertise your event or your topic. I mean, so you don't have to limit to one topic either. And you don't have to have just one occurrence of it. So there was one that I thought would be really cool and more than a few people might want to attend. So I had two of them,
Yeah, because that was the other thing is like if people wanted to, because I'm, like I said, I'm very passionate about women in tech and.
Whoop whoop.
So I know a couple other people too that are like that, But,
Okay.
so my boss's boss is a woman who's interested in that. But I work with a person who's belongs to some of these organizations as well.
Yeah, there's one of them I'm like on the mailing list for. It's like women in technology. Like it's an organization and they do like group meetups like every month or so.
Well, I'm a part of the Women for Society, the Society for Women Engineers.
I don't think.
Well, can I recruit you to come to, I've got a thing with the Dearborn Library, right? I'm a president of a local computer club, a Linux club.
Yay!
And,
Sorry.
okay, so I'm trying to recruit people to come in and do presentations, right?
Oh.
And so the idea is the library will give us free space,
Uh-huh.
but we are obligated to bring in some workshops.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find people who will commit to coming in a certain day, with an agenda type thing on what you would present. And it could be for the general public, you could do some kind of woman power or whatever the thing is,
Or Linux security discussion talk, because I
The Lin-
can totally do
yeah.
that. I
Okay,
can
so
totally do that.
we have some security stuff for Linux that we've already started to
Okay.
schedule. I got one.
That's where I work in the Linux security like
Super.
development.
So now I've got 3 people who are interested. Only one of them has actually committed to a time and a date.
Okay.
So if I can get a time and a date.
Can you give me contact information to get?
President at mdlug.org.
Okay, hold
That's-
on.
President.
MDLUG, that's Metro Detroit Linux User Group, and it's a .org. And so you need to plug in with these local groups. There's also MUG, MUG.org. That's a real easy one to remember. MUG.org, and that's a local Linux group.
See,
Semco.
Oh, slow down. I'm not that quick. Okay, sorry.
Okay, how
tired.
hard is MUG? MUG.org.
Okay, sorry.
That's the second one I give you. The first one is MDLUG.org. That's Metro Detroit Linux User Group.
I've been to Monk, I've never been to.
Yeah, so the thing is, Monk is more well-known. It's a larger group. They sometimes have 30 people. It's mostly professional. They have 2 formal presentations in the evening. It's a second Tuesday. It's in a library in Farmington Hills.
Gotcha. It's close to me.
Yeah, so it's close to a lot of people. It's kind of a central location. That's why they chose that. The MD Lug is a smaller group. We typically have like 10 people, sort of informal. A lot of it is just discussion time, right? But so the idea is, I'm trying to build up this MD lug to be a little bit more. You know, have more than just 10 people show up. Try to do some other things, so, you know, women and stuff like that. You know, we don't have any women come to a lot of this. You know.
Really?
Or there might be one or two women.
Yeah.
The problem is that I'm doing a career switch right now, so right now I'm technically an electronics tech, and I'm just now switching over to computer science.
So mug.org, second Tuesday, and they have a portion of that meeting where they say, people who are looking for work that, you know, that need a job, and there are people who have jobs that are looking for people.
Yeah, we're looking to hire
So-
people right now too.
Are you?
Yeah, we're looking to hire
See,
another
that-
Linux developer and another Windows developer.
I don't know. I'm just starting computer science right now. I have no fucking clue. What do I want
I've
to
been in
do?
it since.
What do I want to do when I grow up? Since you're already in this, like I'm in computer science.
So that
now.
sounds like a perfect topic for, I mean, there was one of the buffs was, you know, getting a computer-related job here, you know,
I
so.
have no idea. I just know I want to make money.
Well,
Okay,
so-
well, there's a couple different
And
facets
you can
go
in this
down.
field, yeah.
You can go like the web development facet. You can
That's
do the
what I
game.
want to do. Is
game
that
development.
good? Is that good? Is
Do you
that
want my
good?
personal opinion, or do you want like?
Yes.
Okay, my personal opinion is web development is harder to get into.
I've
And
heard.
makes less money than
Mm.
something like programming or like sysadmin or I mean gaming's the hardest to get into. I mean if anybody disagrees with me, go ahead and say
No, I
something.
know gaming's hard.
Gaming's the
because
hardest.
it's small.
Web development I think is the second hardest because there's so many people out there trying to do it.
Yeah, you're
because-
competing with the 12-year-olds and the people
Yeah.
in China and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it gives you the basis for a lot of other things. So you gotta really spend the time to get the basis, you know? So there should be a topic somewhere in here, right? So women in tech who wanna get a job in IT. I was at a restaurant and yeah, I'm sitting there eating the meal and the server, this woman, is talking to the person next table and says, oh yeah, I'm really a, you know, IT person, you know, in some specific thing. And so I asked her, well, why are you working as a server at a restaurant? And she's looking for a job. You know, she's just starting out, just trying to get that background, trying to get the, you know, the education and all that stuff. Like she's going to classes and all that stuff. So I told her about Mug, and Mug is one of these things where they're. Now the problem is it's chicken and egg problem, right? You have to have experience to get a good job. In order to get a good job, you have to have experience.
Co-op solve that. Sorry.
So okay, well, so another option, and this is you get into these local clubs, you start doing maybe like little
Yeah.
projects and presentations. This goes directly onto your resume, you know. So you
Penguicon's going on like my permanent record at work. Like the code sprint I went to for this, Penguicon, any of these things I go to are all going on my record at work. Like cause it's all stuff that you do that's involved with your work outside of work.
So you said mug.org and then dlug.
MDLUG. That's Metro Detroit Linux user group. MDLUG, and I'm president at mdlug.org.
So you're the president.
Wait, I thought you said
Uh,
something about a mug.org. No mug.
MUG.org.
Yes, okay, mug and dlug.
MDLUG.
It looks great. I've presented there a couple times and it's really easy to like,
Really?
there's great presentations there.
Yeah. So they
Because
get
I'm looking for something outside of work to go through to regularly, and there's a couple Python things of it because I also program in Python, but I haven't really decided where I want to go or what I want to do yet. But I definitely want to go to like a regular thing because I'm.
So Mug is a good thing for a professional organization that does technical things related to open source and things
Yeah.
like that. MD Lug is more of an informal group, and they cover, you know, a whole bar and very, very loose type of discussions and stuff. But the other thing too is there's online things, and I have been trying to figure out what the name of this site is that I signed up for, as basically where they provide projects. You know, so someone needs some work done on computers, like a website, right? So they'll post out onto this site and say, I need a web developer to work on this website to do this one thing. And then web developers will bid on that and say, I could do that for, you know, $200 or whatever. And so what you do is it's not that you're making a lot of money at that, but you're getting experience.
That's
And now you
the
put that
main-
experience on your resume, and you also get a reputation out there. So now you can maybe charge a little bit more money if you've done a couple of those successfully.
Well, I was planning on starting out, I'm a part of an organization that helps rescue animals, and my first step was going to be building their website. 'cause it
Yes,
was
very
crap.
good.
Because I love volunteer work. Like,
Well,
I'll do
well-
anything for free, because I just.
Well, okay, all right, so let me plug you into another couple things here. here. I mean, so there's people who are looking for charitable, help, charities that are looking for help in building websites and things like that. I mean, that could be a whole subgenre of
That's definitely. Now, since this isn't what we came here for, are you okay with this?
Yeah.
No, so it is. I mean, so the basic concept is, why didn't you present it at Penguicon? And there's all these inhibitors that keep you from doing what you need to do. What you need to do is obviously be passionate about something, right? And then you bring that into Penguicon. Next year, what's our plan for next year? Well, next year I want you to do a BOF or some kind of, even if you two do it together or do it separately or whatever, find some people that want to do women in technology. Find out what your plan is for getting this first step in getting to the technologies field and present on that next year, right? So there's
That's a
two
good one,
presentations.
getting into the technology field. That's
Which is
another-
really good because I'm 6 months out of college and you're trying to go into it right now, right? So we could have a lot of experience in that.
Do you want to get to have
Like, seriously, we could do this. Like,
yeah,
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, you could start a panel saying like, hi, I'm new.
Yeah, because I went a
You're in
completely
this
different
right
route
there.
than you did. I went to school and college, got a co-op, and did it that way. And you're doing it a different route. So we had completely different perspectives on how to get into the career field.
Let me get your information and yeah, we'll get together because you can help me do the women in tech too. And if you're gonna do the cootie thing, and
Yeah. Cootie thing.
The key thing.
That sounds so much there.
What was the foodie thing?
We're on cooties. I came in halfway through, but it was basically there's a couple women who are either in the tech field or they're like nerdy. They had some comic book stuff they talked about in TV, and one of the women who decided to do it was like, I was sick of going to conventions and just seeing like tits and ass representing women. So literally that's what she said. So I decided to do talking about women in the workplace, women in comic books. Let's talk about strong women. Let's talk about. And a lot of the men were there asking, how can I make, the working environment that I work with women, like developers, and she's the only one in the office, like, how can I make it less hostile for her, like more welcoming?
Hi.
And,
Hi.
And so that's what it was about. It was really an open discussion at the end about, everyone's experience and stuff. It was really cool. I really liked it.
Well, so let me relate, not that I relate to that too much, but one of the things that came up was interesting, I thought at work, is we have this set group that's been same people working together, these middle-aged and maybe older men working on a technical environment, trying to do something specific to keep a system up and running. And then, a woman comes into the group, and now she's part of this group, and she notices, why are you people always friction and having difficulty and stuff like that. So there's one point where there was some kind of dispute, I wouldn't call it dispute, some kind of disruption related to the pager support and who had the pager and what the rules were and all this stuff. And I'm going through my engineering approach. Okay, define what the rules are, document those. Everybody pay attention to what the rules are. And she goes into counselors or couples counseling with these two people, this man and this woman. It's funny, the whole different approach to how to go about resolving a problem. It was like a very female type of approach. What is the feminist word for feminists, but not using?
Just feminist.
Oh, okay. So
Well, so one
I put my cell phone number in there too. Oh, good.
So-
One thing that I wanted to ask around
Took some
the whole
skill.
why didn't I present thing is I have a lot of interest and I know a bunch of things, but my usual problem for a presentation is I don't know what to pick to present on.
Oh god, yeah, that's my other problem.
Like, I wanna
There's
know
so
what-
many things to present on. It's so silly.
What do people want to hear about? Because I'm
Yeah.
probably interested in it, and I'll do some research and go for the talk. So I'm wondering, and this is my first Penguicon, and I'm not totally familiar with all the resources available for Penguicon. I'm hoping it might be cool if there was a brainstorming board where people are like, next year, I'd like to hear about this. And
Yeah, I would
go,
love
oh, I
to hear
totally
from
it,
want to
yeah.
give a talk.
Well, so there's a wiki, Penguicon wiki.
Well, the best resource that, I'm Janet, I'm the head of programming.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
The red lanyard,
Yeah.
I figured you were.
Matt Arnold is working on something called Touch Tracks, and if you come to
I work on
closing,
that. Sorry.
if you come to closing, you're gonna hear, someone will probably talk about it, but it's going to be a more transparent way for people to submit ideas for programming. So you can submit an idea with a suggested presenter, or you can submit an idea just as an idea. So you could say, someone could say, I really want to see a panel on, building a hat that holds robot or something, whatever, and then.
Oh, dang, we
you know,
gotta write that one down.
and then they could be like, but I don't have the skills to do that, and then you can go in there and see all the things.
I have those skills.
And say, I know how to build a hat that has a robot in it, right? And then be like, I want to present that panel. So that's one way that you could see what people are interested in, is to look at that list of things that is suggested but no presenters. And that's something that'll be available in a more organized format. The way we did that this year is we just had a Google form, and then I took all those submissions and weeded through them and shared them with my staff, and we handled it all sort of we didn't have a way to make that whole process as transparent as it will be next year with what's called Touch Tracks, the thing that Matt has made. Go ahead.
I think that's something for you when you want to decide what you want to do next year. So this was my first year, and one of the things that I noticed is that some people didn't seem very passionate about what they were doing. Some of the speeches were very dry, and I felt like if you were going to do something, make sure it's the thing that you add. I mean, I would rather sit through something that I was maybe not so interested in, but you were interested in, than something that I was super interested in, and you were like, wow.
Someone else's passion makes you like excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I sat through a math thing for like 45 minutes, no fucking clue what the guy was talking about. It was about infinity, but I sat there for 45 minutes because I wanted to know, because he was so passionate about it.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah, but and then I sat through another thing that I was really passionate about. It was objects in space, and the guy was just kind of like clicking through his slides, like, well, this was this, and this was this, and then there was another one where they were talking about alcohol, which is another one of my passions, and he was still kind of like, it was a little
How
bit
can you not be passionate about alcohol?
I know, right?
Did you go to the porn tasting?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Was that, see, I missed that. So,
You should have had me, I was told to go.
I missed all the ones, you went to all the good ones.
You make friends, you guys can hang out next
I
week.
know,
I'm gonna meet next year and be like, come with me.
Yeah.
I'll show you the right way to do it. Just kidding.
Well, that'd be kind of an interesting idea, having like, so, some of the really important people have like a person who's dedicated to making sure they're getting through all the process. Why not have like newbie, support team or something? I don't know.
What we tried this year was a greeter desk,
Yeah,
which I feel like was nice. I mean, from my perspective, it was nice.
I didn't have time to look for it.
They helped me get to registration. I was like, where do I go? They're like, that way. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, it was just nice for people, I think, when they came in, just to
I would do that,
feel
yes.
like, hey, somebody's here who knows what's up.
Yeah.
I went to that desk probably 17 times.
Awesome.
They were
That's good to hear.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something new that we tried this year. We thought maybe would add something to the con. I think it was good.
There's also a thing that, so I work for Mozilla, and we do.
You work for Mozilla?
Yeah, I work for Mozilla.
That's awesome. Sorry.
So one of the things we do, we actually have like kind of internal cons, where, because like we're 75% of us are spread around the world. So when we get together, sometimes that's the first time we're ever meeting. And one of the programs we did that, like, it was kind of awkward at first, but it turned out pretty cool. We did a buddy program, where we just kind of took the entire attendee list and like paired it and shuffled it. And when you showed up, if you wanted to participate anyways, you'd say, this is your buddy, find them. And it's some random stranger you've never met before, but the whole thing was like to go around the con looking at badges and like, are you so, no, you're not so-and-so. And eventually you could trade your buddy cards and you'd get like a badge or a ribbon or something. It was like, it was
That's
just like
fun. What an interesting idea. I'll definitely mention that to the con.
And so it was cool. Like I met a guy from Romania that I'd never heard of before. And like I'm a web developer, and he was like a deep Firefox security guy. And we met up, and it turned out he was really awesome into Firefly and all this stuff from like Romania.
That's
It was
cool.
really awesome.
Well,
yeah.
so I think a lot of people, at Penguicon specifically, have a lot of a wide variety of interests. A lot of that overlaps, right? So we're all like, technical or science fiction, or whether you're, but there's these little niches here and there that still kind of overlap. So there's the cartoon people, there's the people gaming, there's a wide variety of even the overlapping type of scenarios here. I just don't understand, is there some way we can, get these overlaps to work more? This is what this BOF kind of thing was about. Just get people together who are interested in the same topic. There's got to be some way of formalizing that a little bit in this system that you're doing. So you're not just putting out a specific topic that you'd like to see something on, but a more general type of discussion forum about, I want something in this area, and then develop the idea.
Another great place that might work well for something like that is our forums.
Yeah.
And that is something that's new this year too. That might be a good place for those kind of discussions to say like, I'm interested in Raspberry Pi, like what topics have
Right.
been explored with Raspberry Pi
Right.
at Penguicon? What are the panels we've had on that before and what could we do that's different? Like what are
Right.
people interested in that general area?
So I had 2 BOFs on Raspberry Pi.
I missed both of them, I'm so sad. Sorry, continue.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear what you said.
I missed both of them and I'm sad about it.
Oh,
Sorry, continue.
So it was funny, the first one, I'm always running from one place to another. I was just a few minutes late for the first one, and somebody else had taken up the mantle and started organizing it and made it all, work. And it was like probably better than I would have done, right? And so then they turned out to be someone who was really passionate about that thing, and I thought that was great, The other one was, kind of like well, at one point, the guy brought in his robot thing that he had built, and it was like, everybody just, attention on that for a little bit. It was, so there's like these little offshoots within even, topic like that. So how do you plan something like that? I don't know, but certainly there are some topics that, there's just enough passion and stuff. We had 30 people in a room, this kind of room. And, trying to squeeze that in. How do you know that that's going to be a real topic that is going to work with a format versus one that's just going to be open-ended and easy?
Well, that's certainly one of the challenges that I faced when I did the schedule. I mean, when I'm looking at a list of 25 or 30 BOFs, like trying to figure out which ones go in which room, like,
Yeah, well,
it's
so we
really,
have-
so like, how do I know which one's the one that's gonna hit and there are gonna be 30 or 40 people wanting to go that one and which one's gonna attract 5 people?
Right, so we have some
I don't know.
insiders. We have some insiders on some of those. So some of those guys, when George Castro came into town, right, it was like, my God, you've got to have the big room for that. And he didn't. He got a little room, and he didn't even get a projector. He didn't think he didn't work hard enough on making sure his presentation was in a large room and had a projector. And so there were people like standing up, and he was trying to, hold his laptop up so people could see what he's. There's got to be some way of cross, pollinating and having someone else check these other things that you're doing, right?
Oh, sure, I mean, that's why I put the schedule out.
Yeah, right,
And
right.
that's why the schedule was
Well,
out.
and so that's the thing is I looked at that schedule, I verified mine looked okay, right? But I didn't think, oh wait, let's check to see what George is doing and make sure George is in a large room and make sure
Yeah.
he requested a projector. I don't even know how to do that. I mean,
Sure.
how do I find out if George requested a projector?
Yeah, so maybe for next year when I put the schedule out, maybe there's like a way I can,
Check the ones that you're intending to go to and make sure they're in a room that you think is appropriate. Let me know.
yeah,
some
well,
kind of
another
line-
thing that's really great about touch tracks that Matt's working on is that people are gonna get, when you make an account, when you like sign into it, you're gonna get 5 would attends, essentially 5 likes.
Oh, yeah.
And you can pick 5 things that you really wanna go to, and hopefully that will help me,
So pick
make
my
a
number
schedule.
2 on the list for that hour, right?
I'm
So,
sorry.
so I go through and I say, okay, this is my number 1 for that hour. This is my number 2. Potentially I have a number 3.
You get
So I
5,
say-
you get, well, at that point, it won't be organized by time, when you get those would
I know,
attends.
but I go through and I determine which ones are my number 2s, right? So if this one really is a bomb that's being presented by somebody I don't really like, I have a second one that I might go to, right? So your might go tos, you have 5 of those, you're saying. So now I.
No, it's like a like on Facebook. So you can pick out of all the programming that you see, you'll get 5.
That's a good
You'll get
idea.
5. At this point, there won't be a schedule. It'll be when people have just suggested events. You'll be able to go in there and see everything everyone has suggested so far and look through it, and you'll get like essentially 5 stars. And you can say, ooh, this thing looks amazing. I really want that to happen. I'm going to give it a star because I would definitely go to that, right? Or whatever.
You're helping that. You're
And
helping
then,
to help you.
and then that'll help me, because then I can say, wow, this
Well,
thing has 100 votes, like that's
Yeah,
definitely, let's put that in the big top,
yeah.
because it's gonna have 100 people in it.
Well, could we
I'd
do
let
some-
people like as many things as they actually were interested
The
in.
problem
Or
that
doing a
Matt,
strong and weak, maybe.
the problem that Matt has identified with letting people like a lot of things is that people are gonna like too many things, and then the data won't be meaningful.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get meaningful data on what people very strongly want to see at con and will actually intend to go to.
Well,
And that doesn't mean that people won't get to see the stuff that they maybe not like.
Right.
Everybody's gonna
It's more
pick
just to help me with
something.
scheduling so that I get things in
It's
the right
just to get a
size room.
general idea.
What's the name of the program again?
Tux tracks.
That's a.
TUXTRAX.
Tux tracks.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Tux tracks.
Sorry,
That's
Tux
right, no,
tracks
just
is kind of a
some of those
mouthful.
words, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we
so-
went round and round on the naming. for a while.
Tux.
Yes.
I have
Alright.
a question.
Sure.
I went to the port tasting, and when I showed up, they said I had to sign up. I had to have signed up at Ops or something. There was nothing on the schedule that I could see, or maybe I just didn't look hard enough, and I'm done.
It should have been in the description,
Okay.
Oh,
But not the chart.
but not the chart. I got the feedback
because I
already
didn't
that it should be
want
on the chart.
The green chart, and that's
Yeah.
like where my life was at, because I was like, okay, where am I going?
Yeah, I got the
Chart is
feedback
great.
from somebody to put a symbol on the
Yeah,
green chart.
something, so I
I'm
know
gonna
that
do
I
that
need
for
to plan
next year. I'm
ahead.
gonna put like a little pen or
Okay,
a little
that
picture
would
of a
be
pen there.
fantastic.
So that, just to remind people that it's a sign up
Because I
panel.
wasn't get in, because I was like, I didn't set this like list. I'm like, I'm not on the VIP list. I don't know what to do. Like, it was I'm like, shade.
Yeah, that happened. I gave a panel, I'm sorry, I have a Concom meeting, but it's not time yet. I gave a panel and my sign up was full and there were more people signed up than there were slots for on the sign up. And then more people showed up and I was like, okay, who here signed up? Because I don't have supply, I don't have, was it materials, there was some